Hi, how you doing, and welcome back to a video on the channel. What we have for you today is our preview video going to game week 31. Bit of a tight turnaround between that and game week 30, so hopefully we've got some advice that will help you in your FPL journey. If you are new to the channel, please do like and subscribe. The support has been awesome all season. Even got a few more subscribers since the last video, which is always appreciated. Hopefully we can keep it going into the final game week. So we've got our preview here, but first we're going to talk about how our team did in game week 30, and it was pretty good, I think. I mean, I was a bit nervous going into those final minutes of the Spurs-Luton game because I had captain Son, but up till that point he hadn't got an attacking return and he was on 4 points. So to get a goal and then go from 4 points to 20 points is just a huge swing in comparison to where I am overall. So I did have a small red arrow. I think it's more like a sideways grey arrow, to be honest, because I went down about 600 places, which is essentially staying where I am. But all the points are really tight, so I'm very happy with how my team did. I was bit disappointed that I benched Bowen. That was a bit of a deadline decision. Did have Saka on the bench, but I thought, Man City, they did have defensive injuries, so I thought maybe Arsenal could benefit from that. And Saka was flagged, so I thought if he doesn't play, I'll get Bowen's points in anyway. But I just thought that, Saka had more of an upside than Bowen did. And as it turned out, Bowen was the first game of the game week and got 10 points. And then, that's 7 points I could have got in the difference between the two players. But it's how it goes. Palmer was really good as well, got a couple of goals for 15 points, and Gabriel managed to keep a clean sheet. But other than that, there wasn't too much going on. I was a bit disappointed that Lascelles and Watkins both went off before the second half. Lascelles, I thought, could have really benefited from Sven Botman being out with Newcastle's run of fixtures, but now he's out for a really long time. And Watkins is someone who, if I'd have known he would have subbed off at half-time and tweaked his hamstring, I obviously would have started Bowen ahead of him. But with the thought of Watkins getting 90 minutes, I think was really beneficial and would really have preferred that over Bowen. But as it stands, it's all good in hindsight, isn't it? So let's take a look at the fixtures for this game week. And it's important to recognise that it is a midweek deadline. That 6 o'clock deadline on Tuesday is really important. In terms of captaincy, I think a lot of people are scrambling to get in Salah, myself included. But I think if you've got any Liverpool attacker and you fancy their chances of getting a good amount of minutes against Sheffield United, I would captain them. That is obviously the benefit of having Salah over anyone else, is that you're pretty sure he is nailed on to start and probably get 90 minutes. Aside from someone like Salah, I think if you wanted to captain Saka at home to Luton, that's perfectly fine as well. Or if you wanted to go for the standard Haaland at home to Aston Villa, it's a bit of a, less likely to get a load of returns, especially given Man City and Haaland's recent goal scoring form, but you can't back against him. So I think either of those three players, you're doing absolutely fine. So my transfers for this game week are as follows, and I've got 2 free transfers and nothing in the bank, which makes it a little bit tight. I am thinking of taking out Son and Bowen. Now, for me, I'm thinking of taking out Bowen in order to get the money to upgrade Son to Salah. I could also instead drop Watkins to Muniz from Fulham, and then I would be able to go from Son to Salah that way. The problem with doing that is that I would still probably have to bench Muniz, even though he's got a good fixture. I would like to maybe know how bad Watkins' injury actually is, because if Watkins is out for a while, that would make it a lot more simple to transfer out Watkins. But as it stands, we don't know, and Watkins has been so good for me all season. It is a bit of like loyalty bias, I guess, because I don't really want to transfer him out because he's done so well for me. Obviously, that is not a good thought process for FPL, but it's just how I'm thinking in my heart as it goes. So with these transfers, I would be able to get in Salah and Cliver from Bournemouth. Now, Cliver would probably be on the bench for me, but I would be benching Bowen anyway. And as we've just seen from the latest game week, that's come back to haunt me a little bit. There is an option of just swapping Bowen for Luis Diaz from Liverpool and keeping Son. So I would therefore go without Salah. I'd have Diaz and Son, and I'd try and just cover Salah's points that way. Now, the danger of that is that Diaz doesn't start against Sheffield United, but I would be able to have like a bit more of a well-rounded midfield. then again, I would have a bit of a benching headache because I would feel the need to start Diaz and probably bench Watkins against Man City, which might not be the worst benching in the world, but Watkins is currently the highest scoring player in the whole of FPL this season. So benching him against anyone doesn't really make sense. If he was called Haaland, you'd be like, don't bench him no matter what, like play him. He's the highest point scorer in FPL, but because he's called Watkins, he plays for Aston Villa, we do have that sort of thought process where he is a bit more dispensable than someone with a bigger name. So this is the transfers I'm thinking of doing at the moment. Let me know what you think in the comments of, are they the right transfers? I'm essentially, if I'm going to bench Bowen anyway, I might as well bench someone like Kluivert. So it comes down to, do I think Salah at home to Sheffield United is going to outscore Son? I don't really like Son's fixtures. I know West Ham are conceding a lot of goals at the moment, but having experienced Son, as a captain this weekend against Luton, Spurs are very inconsistent and so are West Ham. So I've got two players there who, can score a lot of points, but a lot of the time they also don't score any points. So whilst they are good players for their teams are inconsistent. And if I am free hitting in game week 34 and then wildcarding afterwards, I only need to focus on the next 3 game weeks. And I do think Liverpool and Bournemouth actually have pretty good fixtures in the next 3 game weeks. Now, Kluivert is someone who I'm not expecting to score lots of points, but if Watkins doesn't play against Man City, I'm quite happy with him coming in with his potentially slim upside just to get me hopefully 2 points, maybe an attacking return as well at home to Crystal Palace. Everyone's sort of saying how Solanke is a really good option. Well, if Kluivert plays, he's maybe quite a good option as well, especially for the price. I will be 0.0 million away from getting in Sarabia instead of Kluivert, which would have been the dream transfer, to be honest. But it is what it is. It's very frustrating when you miss out on 0.1 million. But I'm happy with Kluivert being on the bench. The team will look like this for this game week once I've made these moves. And I think it looks pretty strong, to be honest. Hopefully Watkins does play against Man City. But as we say, Kluivert at home to Crystal Palace is someone who I don't mind coming in for the short-term sort of fixture. And, I probably will bench Mengi for Van Heck as well, because Van Heck has that Brentford game. But I'll probably only get 1 or 2 points from either of them anyway. So let me know what you think in the comments. How are you settling in for your team? Are you breaking your team up to try and get Salah as well? Or are you happy with your team, or you're looking at a different Liverpool option? So please do like and subscribe. If you are new around here, good luck in the game week. Don't forget it's a Tuesday night deadline, and I will see you in the next one.